Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Old Man Rambles. And I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this at this point, but I want to talk about the upcoming election. Not that I want to, um, it's just a topic that's been on my mind. I wonder why. I have concerns um, about what will happen if Trump loses the election. Um, Given the events of January 26th and the attempted overthrow of the election process, and the fact that the conservative right has basically tried to make it easier for them to overthrow election results, and they've continued to push election conspiracy theories that massive voter fraud is happening. I'm deeply concerned that no matter what happens, if Trump loses, they will try to overturn a legitimate election because they will simply refuse to believe the facts. This bothers me a lot because they just won't accept any evidence to the contrary. It doesn't matter how badly. Actually, the more Kamala Harris beats Trump, the less likely they are to believe the results. If there's an overwhelming victory, if she gets like 60 to 80% of the vote, whatever it is, if she wins, if she has like a Reagan landslide where she basically takes 48 of the 50 states like Reagan did back in the 80s, they're just going to scream election fraud louder. There is nothing that will convince them because it's always my side. If my side wins, it's a fair election. If their side wins, it's rigged. It's fake. There are too many people out there who believe that, who think that way. And I could quote reasons why elections are more secure. I could point out that one of the largest cases of election fraud in this country was a Republican congressman in North Carolina. 3 of his aides were indicted on election tampering. The second largest case was a Republican judge in Texas. And I say large not because they were important, but because the number of votes involved. This was not like 1 or 2. These people were actively engaged in trying to rig the elections. And interestingly, it was 2018 midterms when Trump was in office. Republicans committed the most election fraud in 2018. Literally, that's not an opinion. That's not false news. That's on the Heritage Foundation's website. Heritage Foundation is a conservative right-wing organization that is pushing the election fraud narrative, that there's massive election fraud. But if you dig through their records, they keep records of convicted cases of election fraud. I found it on their website. So they just don't expect people to look for it. I can point out that immigrants from Central and South America tend to vote Republican. They tend to be politically conservative and vote Republican, which highly amuses me, the fact that they're trying to get them deported and deny them in the country. The fact that they're shooting themselves in the foot by pushing this narrative that immigrants from South America are going to vote Democrat, because they don't. Central and South America immigrants tend to vote conservative Republican. The fact that they are losing votes. They would actually have a better chance of winning elections if they stopped trying to demonize Central and South American immigrants. They would win more. That amuses me highly, that they are doing something that is that stupid. I find that type of idiocy funny. But I don't think I can convince anyone who believes that the elections are being stolen. And I worry what they'll do if they lose. If the Democrats lose, there'll be a lot of screaming and crying and gnashing of teeth. But they did that when Trump won in 2016. They didn't try to overthrow the election. yes, there was some discussion among the Democratic members of Congress to not certify the election. However, they realized that that's illegal, that they're not allowed to do that, and they certified Trump's victory in the presidency in 2016. And any Democrat who's talking about it this time, well, it's illegal again, and they'll likely certify his victory if he wins. Yeah, probably. The only reason I'm hesitant is because I know that there have been laws passed in Republican-controlled states to allow them to overturn the results of the election if they lose. So, yeah, I can see a case where if the Republicans try to rig the election, Democrats might not certify the votes, certify the election results. It's a fucking mess. And I rarely drop any swears on this channel, but that just kind of slipped out. But it's just such a mess. And the conservative right has already proven they're willing to ignore the election results to just do what they want anyway. And they've just made it easier. And they've already proven that if they don't like the results, they'll try and overthrow the government. So yeah, I have some concerns about the upcoming election. Good hunting.